Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about more in depth on lists. We're going to talk about how to access items from a list, how to add stuff to a list, and how to remove stuff from a list. So first, let's start with accessing stuff from a list. So lists, there's something called indexes inside of a list. An index is basically a position wherever that list is. Indexes in Python start at 0. So let's say you want to access the first item. You would then tell Python that you want this list at the 0th index. So you want to get the first item. So in this example, let's say I have a list that contains 0 to 5, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we assign it to a variable called myList. Let's say I want to access the 0 in there, so the first item. I would then call myList and have two square braces at the end of it. And inside of the square braces, I'll put the position of it. Number 0 is the first item, so I will call at the 0th index, the first item. This will get me back 0. Let's say I want the 6th item. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the 6th item, right? So the 6th item would be my list at 5. Because since it does start at 0, 5 is the 6th item. This will get me back number 5. So another property of a list is that we mentioned before is that they are changeable, right? So how are they changeable? The changeable means that you can change a specific value inside of a list, a specific index inside of a list to another value. So let's say we have a new second value that we want to say hello. And let's say we want to change this so that the second value inside of this list, the second position, will become hello now. So we give this my list at the first index. Remember, 0 is the first index, 1 is the second. And now we want to give this the new variable, so new second. So my list at index 1 will become new second. This will get us back equal to this list. So 0, hello, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It just swaps out the 1 for a hello. Let's say we don't know where the list ends. Let's say there's 1,000 items inside of this list and we want to get the last item. We can do this by negative indexing. So like we give it a -1. This will get us back the last item inside this list, which is a 5, right? Also work with like a -2, which will get the second to last, -3, third to last, fourth to last, fifth to last, so on and so forth. So let's talk about how to find the length of a list. So finding the length of a list is really easy. We have a built-in function called len that will find us the length of the list. So let's say we have a list called myList 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's say we want to find the length of this list. We would just do length and then we put myList inside of length. This will get us back a length of 6 because there's 6 letters and it starts at 1. So there's 6 items inside of here, so it will output 6. So list slicing. List slicing is, let's say you want to take a chunk out of the list, but you don't want like anything else outside of that chunk. So list slicing, the format is that you give it the list name, and you give it a start and end format. So let's say in our list, it's the same list, my list, and let's say we want to get a new list back. Let's say we're going to get my list, and let's say we only want to get the 3rd item to the 5th item, to the 6th item, right? So this will only give us back 2, 3, 4. As you can see right here, even though we included the 5th item, so the 5th index, it doesn't include number 5 up here. It doesn't include number 5 at all. This is due to because it only takes in the values that you gave it up to the last index without including the last index. So this would not include 5 itself. It will only take up 2, 3, 4. Let's talk about how to add stuff to the end of a list. So first you can use a dot append. So let's say you have a list and you want to add something to the end of it. You can just do my list dot append. And whatever you put inside of these parentheses will go to the end of the list. So let's say we want to add 10.54. This will give us a new list and it will have 10.54 at the end of it. We can also do a dot insert. A dot insert is more like changing the value itself. So let's say we want to insert at the first index and we want to insert like hello, right? When we do this, we'll get back what we had before. So 0, hello, 2, 3, 4. As you can see right here, the 10.54 is at the end and the hello is at the first index, so the second item inside of this list. You can also remove specific items. So let's say we want to remove the 10.54. We can just do dot remove and we can just do 10.54. This should give us back a list that removes it completely from our list, right? And now let's say we want to pop an item out. So if we call pop and we give it an index, it will just pop out that index. So over here, it should just remove the hello from here. But if you were to call myList.pop and you don't give it anything, so this number doesn't exist, it would just remove the last item. So in this case, it would just remove the 5, right? It wouldn't remove a specific item, it would just remove that 5. Next is we have delete. Delete functions the same thing as pop. If you give it an index, it would just delete that item at that specific index. But if you were not to give it any index, so just call delete and then you just call my list, it would just delete that whole list itself, right? It would just completely get rid of that list. Another way to do this is that you would do a dot clear. This is the same thing as the delete. you just do my list, and then you just do a dot clear. This will just clear that list, so it no longer exists, it's empty, right? Okay, that's it for today. See you guys next time. Bye.